Chosen one, stop immediately. If you leave after this sentence, you will be leaving behind an unforgettable experience. Selected one, pay close attention. No, your presence here is not accidental. This message was not discovered by chance, and you are not hearing these words at any given time. This moment was planned. You were directed here because there is a change in the air, and you are expected to feel the pressure at this time. If you scroll away or delay, you may never return to this exact doorway. Noise is not the means of communication with you. It is urgent and directly affects your life. The following section may make you feel uneasy. Some of the information you received was incorrect. Some of your beliefs, the way you've been living, and even the things you trusted were incorrect. And now, correction has arrived, not later, but right now. Time is more important than you realize, which is why you were chosen to receive this information before others. You may feel uneasy, resistant, or confused as you hear this, which is not an error. This is exactly why you are required to remain. Your awareness is expanding. Things that others cannot see are becoming more visible to you. The aspirations you quietly nurtured, the prayers you whispered, and the results you promised yourself would come eventually are no longer in the background. They are moving toward you in real time. However, there is a condition. It is critical to acknowledge the situation and respond to it fully. Giving only a portion of your attention will be insufficient. This isn't just about having a different perspective. This is deeper than motivation or perspective. This is a transformation that alters the structure of your life. Expect movement. Be prepared to align. Expect events to unfold faster than you expect. However, it is critical to understand this. It is contingent on your continued alertness. It is contingent on your response. Currently, distraction incurs costs. There is a cost associated with uncertainty. Waiting costs money. We must take immediate action before proceeding. Click the like button. The button is not the focus of this discussion. It functions as an indicator. Subscribe, because this message is intended for individuals who are able to receive it. Please leave a comment about the number 99. You will understand the significance of that number later, but not right now. If you have an internal reaction while listening, it serves as confirmation. Individuals who are expected to receive comprehensive instruction stay until the end. Those who ignore this moment frequently realize that they have passed up a significant opportunity too late. Listen carefully. The passage of time is becoming more restricted. Already some doors are closing. It is impossible to delay alignment without consequences. The information that is about to be revealed will challenge your assumptions about what is stable and familiar. It will challenge your preconceived notions about safety. However, it will provide you with a sense of purpose, authority, and provision that you have not previously experienced. Maintain your cool if you're prepared. This is not entertainment. Warning. This is a summons. This is your opportunity. In addition, one aspect of the situation remains unresolved. Not because of its ambiguity, but because it needs to be delivered at the right time. The current moment is that time. God is now communicating with you, the chosen one. Humanity became disoriented as it pursued illusions that promised significance, but ended in emptiness and confusion. What was once solid took you off course. This is not a gentle moment. It comes as suddenly as a thunderclap, shattering any illusions of comprehension and revealing what was never meant to be endured. You've thought about why you felt the journey was more difficult than others. What was the reason for the lack of response? The reason for the long, oppressive nights? None of it was wasted. Every question, every tear, and every season of endurance helped you prepare for this encounter. This isn't meant for a large audience. It is directed. It is deliberate.
It recognizes your name. You are being summoned because of your ability to transport the substance that is being released. The weight you are currently carrying is real. However, it provides a sense of liberation. Because transformation always requires sacrifice, fear and optimism coexist. Humanity overlooked the pattern. However, you are now in a position to change it. This summons does not make a whisper. It causes disruption. It rearranges. It unlocks doors that you were unaware were locked. The passage of time is fast. The truth is converging. The way of life was not arbitrary. It was an act of preparation. Like Esther before the king or David before the throne, the moment arrives unexpectedly, and any delay is considered disobedience. The scene has been established. Thus, the curtain is being pulled back. Your decision is more important than ever. The rate of change in the world is outpacing the ability of certainty to keep up. You cannot regulate it, but you can keep a rhythm with it. Each pause prolongs your suffering and that of those who must obey you. Consider the location of your stand. This edge is significant. Fear desires control, whereas calling requires action. There is no confusion about the call. Doubt is out of date. Your hesitation is an inherent part of your personality. Currently, the topic under discussion permeates everything. The process of reflection has been completed. Action is the next stage. Rise to the opportunity that has been waiting for you. This is the hour. To progress, one must be prepared to recognize where the path diverges. Humanity has developed the ability to celebrate surface wins, empty milestones, and endless distractions that soothe but never satisfy the soul. What was supposed to be a guide became a diversion. The emphasis shifted toward accumulation and applause, while purpose and alignment were quietly ignored. This isn't an accusation. It's dawning. Recognizing the problem is the first step toward recovery. Patterns emerge when one examines their own life. Fear-based decisions. Compromises that helped to calm your anger. Relationships and activities that gradually led you away from your intended identity. None of it was wasted. Each error conveyed an instruction. Each error acted as a reflection. I am not attempting to humiliate you. Rather, I am demonstrating areas for improvement. This is the concealed mercy. What appeared to be failure was in fact a disguised path. When you notice this, guilt's grip is lessened. The voice of shame is silenced. Regret is no longer central to the narrative. Currently, maintain a state of clarity and allow the truth to emerge within you. You have determined where the alignment was compromised and are ready to recalibrate. This awareness marks the point at which confusion turns into authority and wandering becomes intentional movement. As it is written, "Arise, shine, for your light has come." The following will be clear. This is not a modification. It's been reset. A profound transformation that affects all aspects of your life. What was once thought to be unchanging will eventually disintegrate. What was previously considered distant will become more apparent. It took a long time before you realized you were being trained for this. Every silent cry, heartbreak, and struggle has contributed to the strength required today. This is the moment your soul has been waiting for. If you find this message to be meaningful, please respond thoughtfully. Share and like the video to ensure it reaches those who might need it. We hope to reach 20,000 subscribers, so please subscribe and stay informed. Please include your city and location in the comments, as well as the phone numbers 999 or 777. This mission is strengthened by your unwavering support. Nothing in this context is accidental. It is obvious to God. I concur. Prepare yourself, because the process of unfolding is irreversible. This transformation does not involve negotiations. When the divine will is at work, resistance does nothing but postpone the inevitable. A new order is forming, and you're not watching from the sidelines. You're currently in the present. There is no way to return to your former self, just as the seed must be broken before it can grow into a tree. This will result in a more robust, focused, and harmonious life, benefiting not only you but also everyone you meet. This represents the beginning of a new era. A time when the inner vision outperforms the surface noise and the truth penetrates the distraction. You will feel stretched, pressed, and summoned beyond your comfort zone. However, the pressure also provides a sense of direction. Authority is the result of that demand. Movement preceded separation, as demonstrated by Moses' approach to the sea before its division. Following this, the pathway is accessible. You are not witnessing historical events. I included you in the text. Selection is not an example of ornamentation. It combines honor and weight. You are awakening what has lain dormant within you. Long hidden, a purpose is now emerging, awaiting your courage to confront it. This is an opportunity to emerge from uncertainty and establish oneself as a beacon of light in an ever-changing world. It is critical to recall each time you felt a distinct sensation, or when your inner knowing led you in a direction that others were unable to follow. That was not a random act. It was a form of preparation, similar to Joseph's dreams leading up to his imprisonment. Guidance then arrived quietly. Silence was the foundation for strength. However, the whisper has evolved into a persistent call. You are evolving alongside the era. It is now time to fully commit to the purpose for which you were selected. Enter without hesitation. Carry your identity with a sense of humility and courage. The world isn't just expecting signs and wonders. It anticipates your presence, clarity, and light. This awakening symbolizes the transition from the identity you have held to the identity you were always meant to embody. For events to unfold, there must be preparation that goes beyond simple action. Your life's inner structure has been penetrated. Your attachments, patterns, and thoughts must be examined. Refined, not judged. What once gave you sustenance may no longer be a part of you. Just as Gideon reduced his army, it is necessary to reduce the number of soldiers to ensure that the remaining ones are aligned. Commence the clearing process. Remove fear from the spirit, resentment from the heart, and doubt from your mind. Create a space for the truth to be resolved. Quietness is crucial. The separation of time is significant. Distractions are reduced through solitude, reflection, writing, or silence, which improves connection. Develop your intentions in line with the most authentic version of your identity. Examine your surroundings with a keen eye. The results are influenced by the atmosphere. What you choose to surround yourself with has an impact on your personal development. As it is written, "Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." This is not a matter of control. Stewardship is the term. Have faith in the events unfolding beneath the surface. Preparation is a combination of surrender and movement. You are developing discernment, strength, and timing. When the time comes, the necessities will be at your disposal. The ground is prepared when the heart, mind, and spirit are in sync. And what is meant to establish itself will rise with force. Revelation is received as a gift, but it is not accepted quietly. Truths that were previously concealed, softened, or rationalized are now being revealed. The haze that clouded your judgment is lifting. The thing that previously perplexed you is no longer in control. The path forward is becoming clearer, and decisions that were once considered optional now appear to be of significant importance and certainty. It's like reaching the summit after a long ascent. Chaos pervaded the struggle from below. Everything is connected from above. Each encounter, delay, and trial reveals its place in the pattern. This clarity helps to stabilize you. It gives you the confidence to act without hesitation, to move without seeking permission. Vision is accompanied by accountability. What you are currently viewing is requesting that you take action. However, the light that illuminates the path also strengthens your strides. This information isn't just passing through your mind. This is the direction that has settled into your bones. You cannot revert to your pre-sight self, as Paul discovered when the scales fell from his eyes. Your suffering was never arbitrary. Your trials were not designed as a form of punishment. They were established. Every blow refines you, just as fire shapes iron. What was once about to break you has now strengthened your endurance, sharpened your discernment, and prepared your spirit for the challenges that lie ahead. Remember how you felt depleted, abandoned, and reduced to nothingness. These were not conclusions. There were improvements. You were being prepared in a place where no one could see, just as Elijah was fortified in solitude before the fire arrived. You are currently immune to fragility. You've been fortified. Allow the truth to be established. Nothing was wasted. You were ready for this task. Fear is not the burden you are currently carrying. It is preparedness. The threshold had been approaching for some time, and it has now arrived. Your life will undergo significant transformation in the coming days. Timing is precise. What you think, choose, and nurture at this time is extremely important. This is not an ordinary period of time. It's the ignition. Remember to be vigilant. Let go of anything that causes you to stray from your equilibrium. Signals will be transmitted quickly. Some people will make it difficult for you. Some, however, will open abruptly. This is a wake-up call. The focus has improved. Courage is a source of stability. Faith is translated into action. The subsequent events include a renewal, a crossing, and a step into the extraordinary. Furthermore, you are not entering without proper preparation. You have already been given the necessary equipment. Wisdom, intuition, endurance, and insight are not available at a later time. They were instilled in you through divine guidance and personal experience. These aren't abstract characteristics. They are tools that require discernment to make the right decision, courage to act when fear strikes, compassion to see clearly, and faith to stand firm when the ground shifts. It is now time to hire them with authority. Each instrument serves a specific purpose, and everyone was adequately prepared for the season. When uncertainty arises, refer to the knowledge that has already been ingrained in you. Force is not the definition of true power. Alignment is the term. When you stand in it, you lose control. Your requirements are completely adequate. There was no important information withheld. Fear may manifest, but it is no longer the motivator. Although doubt may arise, it does not result in a decision. The path that unfolds before you is deliberate, measured, and precisely directed. The threshold represents the transition from fear to faith. It calls for a combination of courage and surrender. Faith is not a rejection of uncertainty. Trust is more profound than comprehension. When fear arises, use it as a reminder to reconnect. Faith converts resistance to flow, confusion to clarity, and hesitation into action. This change is not motivated by reward or status. It is about elevating, removing the surface in order to allow the essential to stand. Your concentration shifted. Accumulation is replaced by impact. The purpose is more important than the outcome. Your foundation is no longer external. Anchored. Guidance is already communicating through quiet knowing, timing, and events that redirect everything. These occurrences are not accidental. Attention is required. The connection is now operational. Alignment becomes more precise when you actively listen and respond. Life reacts as alignment deepens. What was previously perceived as coerced starts to unfold naturally. The inner order is reflected in the external world. Previously strained threads are now used to form patterns. You are building something significant with the help of hands larger than your own. The world is waiting for you to awaken, align, and be fully present. This calling is actualized, not just imagined. Your light isn't meant for applause. The goal is to provide direction. Your life serves as a beacon for those who are still searching. Everything has culminated at this point. Nothing was wasted. Your influence goes beyond your perception. Advance with confidence. Maintain your identity with dignity. Allow the potential that has always existed within you to come to fruition. Everything you thought was stable will be rattled before the transformation is complete. It is not a pointless mess. This is the storm reserved solely for those who have been designated for elevation. Your pain, collapse, and seasons of loss were never signs of weakness. They were evidence that a divine force was putting pressure on you and needed space to manifest. You were not meant to be destroyed by the storm. It was sent to reveal what you were unable to bring with you. Currently, what is breaking was never intended to last. Patterns are prone to fracture. Dissolves. Ground that is well known produces. Not because you failed, but because you outgrew it. Your life is being purified for expansion, just as the land is cleared by fire before new life can take root. This shaking may affect your emotions, relationships, and sense of certainty. Fear increases. Anxiety resonates. The mind attempts to exert control. However, this should be heard clearly. From the start, awakening is never peaceful. Power arises from chaos. Divine intelligence is reorganizing your life to align with your true purpose, resulting in what appears to be disorder. Keep an eye out for potential threats. Signs begin to emerge. A random thought that interrupts your concentration. A meeting that changes its course. A numeric value.
a single word, a moment that lasts until it demands attention. These are not just coincidences. They serve as indicators. Your life is currently influenced by precision. The sharpness of guidance is improved. The amount of intuition increases. The current is advancing and pulling you forward, regardless of how much you resist. Your vitality is important. What is communicated to you depends on what is contained within you. Noise impairs perception. Attachments that are out of date impede progress. Release is no longer an option. Anxiety. I regret it. Self-blame. It is imperative to abandon outdated beliefs, not as a form of punishment, but as an act of preparation. Breaking chains facilitates movement. Forgive yourself as well as everyone else who needs forgiveness. Your survival served as an educational experience. Discrimination was bolstered by your injuries. The event that nearly broke you tested your endurance. Nothing was wasted. Every moment shaped your future potential. The initial shifts then manifest. Subtle at first. Doors become unstable. Conversations are modified. Opportunities appear where none previously existed. These aren't the final destinations. They serve as confirmation. The wave has begun its movement. There is a chance that tests will still be administered, not to impede your progress, but to assess your readiness. Before its reward is revealed, growth frequently takes the form of adversity. Patterns emerge as momentum accumulates. You begin to realize how every delay, detour, and waiting season has prepared you for this exact moment. The timing was never against you. It shaped you. The moment is complete when it arrives. Awareness expands. Observation becomes more acute. You begin to notice connections that others overlook. You feel the weight of impact, the ripple effect of your decisions. This is not a product of your imagination. This is an awakening to responsibility. Now comes the hard truth. You weren't brought here to be comforted. You were led here to get activated. Marked. Summoned. What you carry is intended to move, shift, and ignite something beyond yourself. Action is no longer optional. Even the smallest step indicates alignment. Energy follows motion. Faith becomes visible through movement. This does not signal the end of the storm. It's the eye of it. The moment when everything becomes quiet. Just long enough for you to notice that what you thought was collapsing was actually opening. What lies beyond that opening has yet to be fully revealed. God, I come before you without disguise or defense. I recognize that some of what I did was misaligned. Some of what I trusted steered me away from the truth. And some of what I called progress was just a distraction. I am not hiding from this realization. I accept it as mercy. If you shake what seems stable, I will not resist. If you are closing doors on which I previously relied, I will release them. If you call me out of my comfort zone and into action, I respond. Remove anything that prevents me from participating in what you are releasing. Correct my vision where it has strayed. Realign my heart where fear once ruled. Refine my mind so that the truth can be settled without distortion. I give up on the delay. I give up the doubt. I give up the need to fully understand before obeying. Prepare me to handle what is happening with humility, clarity, and courage. Allow discernment to rise where confusion once existed.
Let obedience replace hesitancy. Let alignment be my strength. I do not want to be the same person I was before. I ask to fully embody who you created me to be. I am prepared. I'm currently engaged in listening. I'll move when you say so. I concur. It is important that you are still present. Subscribe and stay connected as this channel approaches 20,000 subscribers. Every connection adds to the impact of this message. In the comments, type 999 or 777 and include your city and location so we know where this message is going. Your participation helps keep this message moving. And your support through Super Thanks expands its reach even further. If this moment is not here to console you, but to activate you, what is the one thing you know you can no longer put off after hearing this? I concur. Please, chosen one, refrain from browsing. If you leave now, you will be closing a window that will never be reopened in the same way, as God has brought you here for a prophetic purpose. This is not a casual moment, and this message is not meant to be saved for later. Heaven has infused this word with urgency, and time has been instructed to slow down until it reaches you. God desires that this message reach you before the morning of tomorrow, not after you have fallen asleep, been distracted, or drawn away by life. This is because a spiritual movement is already underway, and your awareness of it is critical. When God gives a word a deadline, it conveys a protective, directional, and weighty message. Heaven speaks softly at times and rapidly at others. This is one of those moments, a sensation you've been feeling in your spirit but haven't been able to articulate. This message is heaven's response, and there is one detail hidden in plain sight that most people will miss if they do not stay. It is meant to arouse, not frighten you. I strongly advise you to give this matter careful consideration. If God insists that you hear this before tomorrow morning, the issue he is addressing cannot be delayed. It has an impact on current decisions, thoughts, attitudes, and movements. Heaven is not responding slowly. Heaven intervenes at an early stage. This term refers to God intervening before an event, rather than after it. That alone should indicate how much he values you. Act on this word right away, if your spirit confirms it before we proceed. Consider this. What you release into this moment is more than just assistance. It refers to alignment. You are not just donating. The widow's oil continued to flow only after she brought every empty vessel she could find, as you became a partner in the construction of heaven. Your affirmative response serves as an entry point. Your seed has been transformed into a signal. Your heart will be present in the same location as your treasure. And your heart is being called to be protective rather than comforting. Because it's not just about your ability to hear words. It is about your place among the remnant that God is awakening across the earth, unseen but chosen, dispersed yet linked by a single pulse of obedience. Please remain with me. Avoid drifting. Avoid looking backward. Remember Lot's wife. The moments that follow will delve into why God insisted on delivering this message to you before tomorrow morning, as well as the consequences of delaying. When you have received all of this information, you will understand why heaven would not let you ignore it. The urgency conveyed in this message is not due to fear, pressure, or panic. It's love in motion. Loving care. The type of intervention that occurs before harm is established, loss hardens, and alignment drifts to the point where restoration is painful. God does not expedite things he does not value. Because something valuable is at stake, heaven speaks with urgency. And in this case,
Something is you, your heart, your summons, your future. You are very aware of his voice. A pattern is revealed in the Bible. God speaks before the turning point, not after it. He issued a warning before Israel entered the Red Sea, emphasizing that survival depended on preparation rather than miracles. He addressed David prior to his confrontation with Goliath, emphasizing the importance of establishing courage before the giant arrived. Jesus awoke at dawn, not midday, indicating that God frequently works in the prelude, or the hours before clarity, celebration, and the world's full awakening. God moves ahead of the moment because preparation changes outcomes, and obedience before the battle often determines victory within it. The prelude quietly shapes destiny by assessing hearts, purifying motives, and making decisions without fanfare. There is a common desire for God to speak once everything is clear, but he speaks while discernment is still required and there is still a choice. This is why this moment is important, not because it is fast, but because it is timely. Let us pause for a moment before proceeding. This is not a random occurrence. If your spirit acknowledges this truth, it indicates a current revelation. Therefore, cease. Allow yourself to be fully present by taking a moment of silence. I'd like to request that you perform an act of agreement in your spirit before proceeding, which may appear simple but has profound spiritual significance. Initially, like this video, allow the touch to become more than just a habit. Let this be a declaration. I agree with the words of God that are spoken over my existence. Second, subscribe and stay engaged, not just with a channel, as we aim to reach 20,000 subscribers, but with a constant stream of messages from heaven to keep your spirit alert, aligned, and discerned. Third, please take a moment to write comments that are either 999 or 777 inches long and include your city and country. Allow this to serve as a subtle but powerful symbol between you and the Lord. I'm currently alert. My spirit is receptive. I am ready to receive the truth you are revealing. Please let me know if you are inspired to support this ministry through your words, petitions, or the Super Thanks feature. You are not just donating. As a coworker and partner, you contribute to this divine mission. Your assistance is not haphazard. Consent is the term. It expresses, Lord, I am confident in your leadership and embrace your protection. I agree. There is still time for the response to redirect the path ahead, as God is giving instructions. The Bible unmistakably emphasizes this point in Hebrews chapter 3, verse 15. Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your heart. That single word has profound significance today. It demonstrates that responsiveness has a window, and those windows do not stay open indefinitely. Hearts do not harden in a single instance. They harden slowly and quietly as a result of the delay. The next invitation becomes less appealing with each postponed response. Sensitivity is still alive, which is why God is calling you right now. This moment is far more important than it appears, not because it is dramatic, but because it is decisive. God is not demanding perfection in this instance. He wants a heart that is open, willing to move, and moving. What you do with the information you receive determines what happens next. Your alignment determines which direction you take. Heaven listens to your response, not to condemn you, but to guide you. Urgency keeps you from falling into spiritual autopilot, a state in which days become hazy and conviction is obscured by ambient noise. The drift is broken by God's clarity. He enhances the moment so that you don't miss what is quietly approaching.
This is mercy in action. God speaks with urgency because he has a complete understanding of the situation, including the consequences that are currently hidden from your view. If God was finished with you, there would be no need for urgency, only silence. Engagement is synonymous with urgency. It implies that he continues to anticipate movement, believes in your ability to respond, and sees a purpose unfolding in front of you. This pressure isn't meant to break you. This is a position designed to prepare you. Listen to this without hesitation. You are not being rushed by God. He is ensuring that you are in agreement. He is protecting you from the agony of regret and encouraging you to act while grace is in effect. The urgency is not caused by the fact that time is running out. It refers to the emergence of opportunities. Additionally, God is currently communicating with you because you are more important than you have been led to believe. Make sure you hear this clearly and allow it to completely penetrate your spirit. You have not squandered your opportunity. Lateness is not the sensation you are feeling. It's a period of transition. Many people who are chosen experience quiet grief as a result of their belief in the deception that time has passed them by, that doors have closed without them, or that God has moved on while they were left behind. It was never intended for you to wait that long. God is unaffected by comparison, pressure, or panic. He moves with deliberate intent. And when it is relinquished to him, purpose is never late. According to Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1, God creates everything beautiful in his own time, not according to your schedule, the world's urgency, or the timeline you once envisioned. His timing indicates an intention that you have yet to discern. God's timing accounts for what you were unable to perceive, what you were unprepared to carry, and what needed to be shaped prior to release. In his hands, beauty is never rushed. What appears to be a delay to you is often the result of meticulous development. Nothing is wasted by God. He uses seasons to establish consistency, endurance, and depth. During your wait, foundations were strengthened, and they will have to withstand significant weight. Even as you questioned your progress, God was keeping you from entering a situation unless you were ready to stay there. Abandonment is not the experience of silence. It is a process of formation. Silence is rarely observed in the presence of God. It is concentrated. Just as God concealed Moses in Midian before the burning bush, he silences noise to facilitate character development. He reduces environmental noise so that your inner life can develop the strength it needs to face what lies ahead. For God, longevity is more valuable than speed. It is possible that you have wondered if you were overlooked, forgotten, or quietly ignored. However, God never forgets the decisions he has made. He does not abandon the work that he has started. The delay was never rejected. It was improved. You were not disregarded. You were being prepared in a way that visibility could never match. While you questioned his proximity, God was working in the background. Alignments were forming. Lessons were settling into muscle memory. Silently, strength was developed. The apparent stillness was the result of undetectable progress. God frequently carries out his most profound work in the absence of evidence and praise. As a result, repeat this with calmness and ease. You are not late. You are punctual, and it is God's time. And when the moment he has appointed meets the formation he has been working on, it will be clear that nothing was squandered. He didn't ignore your existence. There were no changes to the original sentence. Furthermore, God is currently changing your perspective before tomorrow morning, as vision determines course. The direction determines the steps that follow. What you perceive determines how you move. God does not begin the process by changing the circumstances that surround you. He begins the process by changing your perspective. Movement returns naturally after vision is restored. Before reshaping circumstances, heaven always corrects perception, because what you see will either trap you in fear or liberate you into faith. So far, you've viewed your situation through the lenses of pressure, pain, and limitation. These lenses distort the truth. Pain exacerbates the experience of loss. Pressure exacerbates the sense of urgency. The whisper of limitation indicates that your options are narrowing. However, God is summoning you to discernment through promise rather than pressure. Promise restores order after it has been disrupted by pain. God does not disregard your emotions. He is changing the way you perceive it. This transition is firmly established in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7. We proceed through faith rather than sight. This does not mean that faith negates reality. Faith does not deny the reality of the situation. Faith interprets reality based on the authority of God's words. Sight provides information about what is visible. Faith is an interpretation of what is discernible through God's word. However, faith does not eliminate reality. It redefines it. This is a difficult situation based on reality. Faith claims that this is influential. This is significant, according to reality. Faith claims that this is helping her build strength. Reality shows that this appears to be an impossible situation. Faith claims that this is the place where God reveals himself. Faith alters the significance of a moment before it transforms. Faith maintains that this is not the end, punishment, or squandered time. Faith, like Elijah seeing rain while the sky was still clear, perceives what has not yet appeared and prepares the heart to receive it. Faith also recognizes that God frequently conceals guidance within discomfort. What appears to be a delay could actually be an indication of guidance. What appears to be opposition could actually be a shift toward a more aligned, profound, and secure alternative. Faith asserts that the challenges I am currently facing are not greater than the God who has called me. The magnitude of problems decreases as God becomes more understandable. When visions coincide, fear loses its authority. God is reminding you that the person who called you anticipated the challenges you would face. He was not taken aback. Nothing daunted him. His provision was not exceeded. This is why God instructed your eyes. Vision is acquired through instruction. Faith is developed. God instructs you to see pathways where others see walls, purpose where others see loss, and growth where others see end points. This training occurs at times when circumstances call into question God's promises, and a decision must be made about which voice to trust. God desires that your vision be founded on promise rather than pressure by tomorrow morning. When sight and faith come together, peace is restored, clarity ensues, and movement becomes possible again. God is not asking you to ignore the obstacles that are currently in your path. He is urging you to take a different perspective. A change in vision causes all subsequent events to transform. Anxiety has never been associated with urgency. It has never been linked to panic, pressure, or havoc. Urgent means attentive. It implies that heaven wants your attention, not your concern. God is not sounding an alarm to make you run in circles. He is bringing you closer so that you don't miss out on the information he is about to reveal. Divine urgency heightens awareness while maintaining peace. God is inviting you to experience tranquility before the dawn of tomorrow. Not striving, not noise, not frantic problem solving, but a calm environment in which perception becomes clear. Stillness is not indicative of weakness. It is a nonverbal expression of trust. In Psalms 46, verse 10, the Bible says, "Be still and know that I am God." Panic does not promote knowledge acquisition. Mental exhaustion does not result in clarity. Recognition occurs in the presence of stillness, as the heart remembers who is truly in charge. It serves as the foundation for discernment and comprehension. When movement stops, confusion dissipates. When there is less noise, the truth becomes audible. Fear is sustained by constant motion and indefinite replay. However, stillness removes the microphone of fear. God does not compete with your thoughts during times of silence. He avoids raising his voice. He speaks, and your spirit can finally hear. This is why God tells us to let yesterday rest. Your energy is no longer needed to address what has already happened. Please postpone it to tomorrow. There is no reason to worry about what has not yet been delivered. You're exhausted from yesterday. You are preoccupied with tomorrow. The only place where God moves is in the present moment, where stillness anchors you. Anxiety pulls you to any location except those where grace is available. Grace is available right away, not later, not after all of the pieces are in place, and not after circumstances have changed. At the moment, your stillness allows you to accept it. This isn't an invitation to panic. It is an invitation to listen intently, keep your heart steady, and clear your mind. Because remaining at peace allows you to realize something significant. God has always provided you with guidance. You were never an accident in God's design, so this message did not come to you by chance. Heaven does not spend words on lives that are unassigned. When God addresses you during a specific season, it is because you are in sync with His intention at that time. Your presence in this location is no coincidence. It is proof of your placement. This truth is confirmed by the scriptures when Jesus declares in John chapter 15, verse 16, "You did not choose me, but I chose you." That single assertion answers all questions about your relevance. You are not present due to an alignment of circumstances. You are here because God has placed you. No, being chosen was never based on being flawless, polished, or fully prepared. Being selected has always been contingent on one's willingness. It entails being open, teachable, and accessible when God calls, even if some aspects of oneself are still incomplete. Before making a decision, God does not seek perfection. He first selects, then formulates. Your deficiencies did not disqualify you. They'd already been taken into account. Despite all of the limitations, struggles, and hesitations, God continued to say yes. He chose you with complete knowledge of your history, including every chapter you wish had been written differently. Nothing about you threw Him off guard. He didn't overestimate your abilities. He didn't underestimate your abilities. Heaven has determined that you are capable of meeting the demands of this moment because you are currently in this season. God does not assign seasons randomly. He purposefully assigns them, pairing individuals with moments designed to awaken the potential He has instilled in them long before. This implies that your presence, obedience, and voice are required for the tasks ahead. Not a replacement,
nor a stronger version of another person. God is not preparing another person to fill your position. He is preparing you to continue in your current position. This season requires the qualities that God has instilled in you, which is why He chose you for it. Do not resume your previous routine when you wake up tomorrow. As you awaken, your expectations settle into your breathing pattern. As you awaken, your thoughts are shielded by a sense of calm. As you awaken, remember that God has already entered the hours that lie ahead. According to Scripture, the Lord's unwavering love never ceases. They are prepared from scratch every morning. Chapter 3, verses 22 to 23. Lamentations. Tomorrow will bring mercy that you have not yet felt, strength that you have not yet needed, and guidance that has already been established. God intended for this message to reach you before the morning, so that your heart is in harmony before the day begins. Grace, like the manna that appeared at dawn, is delivered fresh, not recycled from the day before. You are not disregarded. No, you're not wandering. You are deeply loved, guided, and observed. Next, there is an increase, not a decrease. Not depletion, but renewal. So, clarity is emerging, not confusion. Carry this item with you while you are resting. Maintain a positive attitude, stay grounded, and remain receptive. God is not finished with you, and He is still shaping the future. As you awaken in the morning, be aware that something new has already been introduced, and you are currently experiencing it. The experience you had was never indicative of vulnerability. The pain, collapse, and nights when you thought you wouldn't survive were not signs of failure. They were considered sacred evidence. Evidence that a strong force was implanted within you prior to the start of the conflict. Heaven does not evaluate what has no value. Fire is only attracted to large objects, and you are still standing. There is nothing unintentional about your narrative. You were being led, even when it felt like abandonment, and you were being watched, even when you felt ignored. The pressure you felt was not intended to crush you, but rather to reveal your true nature. The Bible has already whispered this truth. The Lord is near the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. That proximity was not cause for regret. Positioning was the problem. Every moment that screamed, "Nothing will change," every lie that told you to give up, and every voice that said you were late was never the last word. The term remains unchanged. Those whom the Son liberates are truly free. Freedom was not delayed. It was in the process of formation. Everyone could not see the layering of strength. You weren't delayed. You were being armed. Absence was not the cause of the apparent silence. There was an attempt to hide the truth. God's most profound work takes place in the absence of an audience. Before anything breaks the surface, roots grow in the dark. You were concealed because the upcoming events required depth rather than noise. The wait was worthwhile. Training was the act of waiting. You are currently not receiving any solace. You are being summoned, encouraged to accurately perceive oneself, called to rise with clarity, not fear, called to act authoritatively rather than hesitantly. Your role is not to fade into the background. Rather, it is to move forward when others hesitate. There is no indication of your status. I thank you, Father, in the name of Jesus, for reaching out to me before tomorrow morning. I am adamant about not taking this moment lightly, because I am aware that heaven sent this word to me with urgency in order to protect, align, and awaken me. Lord,
I beseech you to soften my heart in the areas where delay has caused me to become numb. Restore my sensitivity to your voice. I reject any fabrication that suggests I am late, overlooked, or unqualified. I appreciate your guidance, mercy, and timing. I will base my vision on promise rather than pressure. Give me the ability to perceive with faith instead of fear. Let my language be obedience, and let stillness be my strength. Any changes that must be made to my thoughts, attitudes, and decisions should be implemented right away. Keep my spirit from drifting, redirect my steps, and shield me from unseen traps. I confirm my agreement prior to the battle, the evidence, and the mourning. I was chosen, I am held, and I will move when you speak. I concur. Selected. Respect this message if it has reached a level within you that no human being has ever been able to reach. Allow this act to become a holy signal that travels around the world to awaken another soul, and please notify us of your location by writing 999 or 777. Stay up to date as this movement approaches 20,000 by liking and subscribing. If you are inspired, consider planting a seed of gratitude, as the movement you are currently involved in is much bigger than you. Your existence was predestined for this purpose. What is God attempting to protect or prepare you for while you still have time to respond if he insists that you hear this news before tomorrow morning? I concur.